All right, thank you so very much for being back. And if you just joined us, Enterprise Weekend it is, reaching you from Enterprise Television. Let's head straight to our conversation where we have it that former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai has alleged that the administration of President Bola Tinubu may be linked to efforts pushing for United States sanction against former Kano State Governor Rabiu Kwankwaso. Speaking on prime time on Arise Television, El-Rufai reacted to a proposed U.S. congressional bill seeking visa restrictions and asset freezes against individuals accused of serious violations of religious freedom. He described Kwankwaso's reported inclusion on the sanctions list as unfair and politically motivated. El-Rufai questioned whether alleged lobbying efforts influenced the move, especially since Kwankwaso declined to join the ruling All Progressive Congress and is rumored to be considering the African Democratic Congress (ADC). He suggested the federal government could be behind the push, arguing he could not think of anyone else with that type of motive. He also challenged why Kwankwaso was singled out, noting that several northern states implemented Sharia law. El-Rufai argued that Kano did not enforce Sharia as strictly as others and said former Zamfara State Governor Ahmad Yerima Abdulaziz Yari, who oversaw thorough enforcement, were not mentioned, possibly because they belong to the APC. Let's get talking. Tochukwu Ezekwama is still here. Tochukwu, thank you so very much for hanging on.
Yes, first of all, we have to ask a question. Why is visa restriction a major problem to the Nigerian power elite? Because if you tell a British politician that the American will place visa restriction on you, won't make any sense to him. He barely goes to America for any reason. It's just that the Nigerian power elite like Putin said, Africa is a graveyard. They steal money from Africa. They bank it overseas. They want to go shopping. They shop overseas. They want to invest. They invest overseas. When they finally die, they are buried in Africa. So is Africa
love of the country.
Africa is a graveyard. So how can a graveyard develop? So what is our elite doing in America? They have their homes there. They have invested their stolen wealth there. Their children go to school there. They go there to party. They go there on holiday. They go there to relax. And these are leaders of Nigeria, another country. In Israel, a prime minister cannot have a foreign account. So for you to be a leader in Israel, you cannot have an account anywhere else outside of Israel. That was what happened to Rabiu. That was why Rabiu fell from power. He was prime minister. But when he was, I think, an ambassador, a diplomat in the U.S., maybe ambassador, whatever he was, he had an account in the U.S. He didn't close the account before returning to Israel. The American intelligence knew. So when they needed him out of office, they exposed him, and he was removed. So what kind of country is this where those that lead us do everything overseas? Their mind is not even here, and they are our leaders. How can they lead us right? How can we make progress? That's where we'll start with this, our issues. Visa restriction, that makes no sense for me. I don't go to the U.S. What am I to go to U.S.?
Well, maybe because you've experienced it before and you feel it's not worth it any longer.
No. It's just that I don't have a home there. I've not stolen anybody's money. And I didn't bank my money overseas, you know. And so that's where the issue is. The thing is that politicians must politic. When a politician stops politicking, it becomes redundant. And musicians play music. And when you're around some of these musicians, they hit the table and make their music in their head and dance because they are musicians. So we don't take everything politicians say seriously. A man like El-Rufai is not known for his high moral fiber. He is not known for his honesty and decency. He is believed to be alleged to be one of the sponsors of terrorism in Nigeria. So I don't know what he's saying. He might be right, he might be wrong, but President Tinubu has been on this PR binge in the U.S. He's brought out so much money to influence the American government and public opinion. Trump the other day recognized Mrs. Tinubu in a gathering. You can tell he does not know Mrs. Tinubu.
He doesn't.
Where are you? Where are you?
It was mostly scripted, you know, like
so
detail of the things he's supposed to do. Number one, number two, say this. Number three, say this. And he got to that point and he had to do that.
Tinubu's PR got that recognition to burnish the image of the president and his wife. And he wanted to get additional interviews somewhere, was blocked, and he wasn't allowed. So maybe his PR didn't do enough groundwork. So American involvement in Nigerian politics, the rate they are going, is welcomed. There's a song that says, "Otokata mamu ogoba makwa." It makes me wanna laugh. It makes me wanna cry. They are coming in to fight Fulani terrorism, the bandits and all that. That's wonderful. But that we cannot take care of ourselves. A foreign power will have to secure the peace of our country. It's shameful. It boggles the mind. It makes you want to cry. So something has gone terribly wrong in Nigeria that needs to be fixed. Whether it's the foreign power that will fix it for us, we accept it. But then it goes to show that things are not the way they should be. If Kwankwaso is part of ADC and poses a formidable opposition, or will pose a formidable opposition to the president and his party in 2017, what is strange about the president trying to undermine him or subvert his political activities?
Because that's always been the question here.
That's politics.
Well,
you weaken your opponent so he does not dislodge you from power. So if this man is poised to challenge me and possibly dislodge me, what is wrong with me wanting to put him in a bad light?
But at what point? I understand the definition of politics and why politicians play politics. But when the lives of vulnerable Nigerians, almost everyone in Nigeria is poor.
Is poor.
And yes, almost everyone is financially poor.
Yes.
In Nigeria, you know. And when you have leaders leading a country where a large chunk of their citizens are financially poor, why should politics take center stage over good governance? I'm speaking with reference to President Bola Tinubu at this point.
It shouldn't. Well, this administration is most insensitive to the situation of Nigerians, to the plight of Nigerians. They don't care. You see that in their body language. You see that in their deportment. You see that in their expressions, you know. So they do not care. And for some of these, we call them leaders, but they're actually rulers. They are not leaders. The poorer the masses are, the better for them. You see? The root of poverty, the root of bondage is poverty.
But that's quite Machiavellian at this point.
These guys are worse than Machiavellian. Read what Machiavelli wrote. I've never been able to read it because each time I read it halfway, I found it so nauseating.
So nauseating, the brains. You read it and you feel like, what is happening here?
I'll stop halfway. But these guys are worse than what they are doing is worse than what Machiavelli advocated, you know, And Machiavelli was writing way back, Middle Ages, 15th century, 16th century. So a lot has changed since then. It shouldn't be the case in Nigeria or in any other country, but that's what it turns out to be in our country. So nobody cares. And Tinubu, one problem with his administration is that they have never for once settled down to govern.
Exactly.
There's been politics from the day he came into office. It was politics in preparation for 2027. Yeah, so he has not been a president. He has been a politician. That's the thing.
Unfortunately, and everywhere you see him travel to, he makes such mistakes here and there. And one of those cases was when he went to the Bahamas and he was telling Nigerians in the diaspora there that since he won Nigeria's election in 2023, Nigeria has been a wonderful place. And of course, lots of people disputed that fact and many more, like that. But let's take a look at the Kwankwaso himself, who has been designated at some point here, but there still needs to have it passed in the Congress in the United States. Shatima, who happens to be the vice president, at this point, at what point in his political career was equally fingered at some point. We found terrorists in his home in Abuja, and many other issues like this. So do you think that the United States in their policy making do you think that they might cave because 9 million was paid to publicists to make Nigeria better?
9 million wasn't paid to clean up the image of Nigeria.
To clean up the image. Do you think the United States policy might tilt towards going against what Donald Trump had always... you remember he said Nigeria is a disgraced country.
Yeah, a country of interest.
Yes.
Lobbyists have impact on everywhere. Lobbyists. A politician needs money. And be it in the U.S., be it in Nigeria. In Nigeria, they steal the money. A state governor gets 10 billion from state funds and give to somebody. In America, it's people supporting them.
Yeah.
And in America, there are strict rules. This man, Jesse Jackson, his son was a member of Congress. From his campaign funds, the money that was given to him for campaign, he took $40,000 and bought a watch for a girlfriend. He was removed. Just spending campaign funds for personal reasons was removed. So in America, they are very strict, but they still need money. So those you lobby in the U.S. and provide funds, you influence the politicians. To what extent will vary. Most of them will not break the law, but most of them will become amenable to serving your interest within the limits of the law. So the image of Nigeria is being burnished, but there are a number of issues that are inescapable, that are obvious. There's violence in Nigeria, and that needs to be addressed. So it might be nice to Tinubu and his wife, but I don't think it will dissuade him from believing that there's anti-Christian genocide in Nigeria that remains. And I think it will still strike Nigeria a few more times. But then Nigerians should buckle up and fight the terrorists. The terrorists have an agenda. The agenda of the terrorists is quite entrenched and old. It was Ahmadu Bello that once said that it was the British that interrupted our jihad. That once the British leave, we'll continue our jihad and dip the Quran into the Atlantic. This was said in the 60s, 1960s. He also said that this country, Nigeria, is the estate of our great-grandfather, Ottoman Damfodio. Now, Nigeria belongs to Ottoman Damfodio. Ottoman Damfodio was the Fulani scholar that defeated the northern kings and Islamized the whole place. So that will make it hard, we will dominate the minorities in the north and make it hard for Southerners to ever take power. We are in control of this country. But then Buhari empowered and emboldened the bandits and the other Fulani expansionists. It was there in their books, but when Buhari came to power, because Buhari himself was a Fulani expansionist, he didn't hide it. Okay, he was once quoted as saying that he wishes that Sharia law will be imposed all over Nigeria. So Buhari strengthened them, empowered them by arming Fulani headsmen and importing bandits into Nigeria. These are all terrible, all bad. but it's the nature of human beings to dominate another. So in wanting to dominate, I am being a human being. But you that have allowed yourself to be dominated is being a subhuman being. So it's left for Nigerians to organize themselves, arm themselves, train their young men to confront the bandits, to confront the Fulani headsmen.
But don't you think what you are, advocating for is what had kept us where we are in the southeast of Nigeria?
What kept you where you?
With little or no peace in the southeast of Nigeria, because with the Omoma Kano, which is equal to what you have said, arming the youths, to protect their community from invaders.
Who?
You know Omoma?
Nnamdi Kano.
Omoma Kano, that's what they call it. They're foot soldiers of Nnamdi Kano in the southeast of Nigeria. Now, these are people who have been armed, right, to go against invaders, which are the Fulani terrorists. Unfortunately, the same young people are coming against their own people.
You can't compare the two things. Nnamdi Kano is a renegade. Nnamdi Kano is a freebooter. Nnamdi Kano is an interloper. Nnamdi Kano has no plan for anybody. He has a personal agenda. He has no respect for Igbo kings. He has no respect for Igbo governors. He has no respect for established institutions in Igbo land. So Nnamdi Kano was serving his personal agenda and ordering his men to stone people like Nene Amodo to death. Who is Nene Amodo? As of then, he was chairman of Ohanese, the #1 Igbo organization in Nigeria. He's telling his boys to stone him to death. So he's a renegade, a confused human being who is out to use Igbos and make money.
But you just said that it's in the life of a human being to dominate.
Yes.
You shouldn't blame someone who's been dominated. So if Nnamdi Kanu, who is a human being, is hoping to dominate, according to what you have said, don't you think it equally falls to the same principle that you have said of being a human?
A principal wants to dominate when he's dealing with his students. A husband wants to dominate when he's dealing with his wife and children. An armed robber wants to dominate when he's stealing. But where do you draw the line between this attempt to dominate and criminality? Where do you draw this line when you want to tear a whole ethnic group down to push up yourself? Then the ethnic group must resist you. You're trying to compare arming your youth, training them to confront Fulani headsmen. Nnamdi Kanu's movement had nothing to do with Igbo kings, nothing to do with Igbo politicians, nothing to do with Igbo leaders, nothing to do with Ohanese. He was a loose cannon.
But his fight had always been, not allowing Fulani terrorists, jihadists to invade the southeast of Nigeria. That had always been his cause.
Nnamdi Kanu is Biafra. And he started it in 2012 when Goodluck Jonathan was in power. Was Goodluck Jonathan marginalizing the Igbos? He had Igbos in some of the most important positions: secretary to the government, finance minister, chief of army staffs, and so on. Was he marginalizing the Igbos? He was not. So his Biafranism has nothing to do with the Igbos. It was to serve his purpose. He came out from Owazirike and started his own. He is more politically savvy, more press savvy than Owazirike, so he did a better job. But just as Owazirike was out to serve his purpose, Nnamdi Kanu was out to serve his purpose. But he became more dangerous than Owazirike. So Nnamdi Kanu has his own agenda. It has nothing to do with the Igbos. Like I've always said, if he will subordinate whatever he's doing to the good of the Igbos, you cannot disorganize all that the Igbos have done in the last 50 years. We started from scratch and did an outstandingly good job to raise ourselves up, to reintegrate ourselves in the system. It may not have been a perfect job, but it was a respectable, decent, glorious job. So for one man to come and shove everything to the side, and it's me, Nnamdi Kanu, IPOB, his army was his personal army that was to be used against his political opponents, his political enemies, not to serve the Igbos. So the people he brought, if you go to your village and collect young men that you know their pedigree, their character, and arm them and train them and tell them what to do, you can handle them. But when you say renegade that collected a bunch of renegades from nowhere, then it became a problem for everybody. Sit at home, he started sit at home. And in his sit at home, he encouraged violence. I listened to his tapes. The lockdown is utter and complete. If anybody comes out, my people are very stupid. To him, everybody is stupid. He's the only reasonable human being in the whole world. If anybody comes out, burn him up and burn him up in that his store. And that's an Igbo leader. What are you doing sit at home for? Why don't you coordinate it with our present leaders? They may not be outstanding, but they are there, okay? Burn him up, take guns from, listen to him, take guns from Edo, kill Nigerian soldiers, kill them, take their guns and kill another person. Are you serving Igbo purpose by killing Nigerian soldiers? So he is a confused human being. And he was in London speaking. Sowore is in Nigeria. All of them are in Nigeria. You're in London. Kill, 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 kill. But you're there with your wife and children having fun. Is that a leader? Even though Wazuike remained in Nigeria. He's a con artist, a selfish man. He's a man with his own. And he can only bring evil and chaos because himself, he doesn't know what he's doing.
Now, can we compare him to El-Rufai at this point, just before we wind
down? El-Rufai is the governor of a state.
Remember, he allowed for the Muslim ticket we unfortunately have today that is dealing with us, was made possible, was encouraged by El-Rufai. Today, can we say that the chicken has come home to roost with President Bola Tinubu going against him and going at him with every force of authority?
Those are personal issues. I'm talking about ethnic groups. I'm talking about nations. The Hausa Fulani has an agenda, and El-Rufai is a disciplined, subordinate, loyal member of the Hausa Fulani and is out to advance this agenda. Is Nnamdi Kano advancing the agenda of the Igbo? The answer is no. The Yorubas have a consensus. The Hausas have a consensus. Ojukwu destroyed our consensus during the war. An arrogant, selfishly ambitious human being. He destroyed everything that was built up by people like Zeke, his father, Timba and Caliber, the old Igbo power elite, that got us dominating the whole Nigeria. Every aspect of social life in Nigeria was dominated by the Igbos. It wasn't by accident. It wasn't by chance. It was strategically designed by responsible, determined, committed, selfless leadership. So when we had a man who wanted power for himself, it's me and me or nobody else, he destroyed what was built and ran away after he destroyed everything. So we are yet to reconstitute ourselves after the war and the ravaging effect of the lingering grip of the Biafran propaganda on our minds. We have no consensus. Hausa Fulani, no matter where they are coming from, is northern hegemony. That's their goal. We must dominate Nigeria politically. The Yorubas, no matter where they are coming from, it is what S.G. Ikoku called Yoruba irredentism. Tinubu is in office. He appoints Yorubas to everything, not caring. He makes no apologies for it. He gives no reason for it. But Yorubas must dominate because I am a Yoruba. A Yoruba man comes into an office. They are usually into procurement and employment. He employs only Yorubas. 10 years later, he's out. Yorubas have taken over the place. What is the consensus of the Igbos? We have none. But if people will start at least attempting, Obi of furniture, this is my agenda. What do we do? Ezenry, this is my agenda. But everybody comes with his own personal ambition, destroy Igbo land, and run away. He couldn't run away. He ran a war already in Nnamdi Kano, but was captured and returned to Nigeria. Now he's in jail. And Igbos foolishly will be talking about releasing Nnamdi Kano. Release him to continue with his Biafranism, or release him to renounce his Biafranism. Because you can't release you to continue with Biafranism. The Nigerian constitution talks about the indissolubility of Nigeria. So any attempt to disintegrate Nigeria is treasonable. Yeah. So you can't bring him out to continue with his treasonable activities, but bring him out to renounce Biafra. What of the young men you egged to death? The young men obeying your instructions that died because of your instructions. So are you abandoning them? Are you saying that their death was for no reason? So release him for what? He has committed an offense and should be punished, and is in punishment, period.
All right, let's hope that all of this would add up, because the most important thing for us as a country is governance, no matter where it is coming from, no matter from whom it is being served. Nigeria needs good governance at this point. So whether the Kwankwaso and the El-Rufai people and the ADC might not be in the same room and have the same seat at the table with President Bola Tinubu at this point, Nigerians are asking for good governance and for them to be protected, for Nigerians to be served at this point. Unfortunately, it's often said, a very old adage, when two elephants fight, the grass is there to bear the brunt. And unfortunately, Nigerians are bearing the brunt of the fight between Kwankwaso and President Bola Tinubu, El-Rufai, and many other people. As 2027 draws very close, we sincerely hope that all of this, might be checked if the government and those running it are serious enough to make this happen. This is our take for today. Tochukwu, thank you so very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
We do appreciate you. All right, people, we have to leave for today. I would love to believe you enjoyed our show just like I did here. Please do well to follow us. You can find us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally download and share to your friends and folks, if you may, when you visit us at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Bubiki. Have yourself a splendid day. Have yourself a splendid weekend. God bless you, and we'll see you on another episode. Gracias. Bye-bye.